Hi there, my name is Ron Rogers, and this presentation is the Wild West Days of Skydiving. This is part 4, final part, how I almost killed a student and Jake's aborted jump attempt. Now, I was the president of the Iowa parachute team. I kept the chutes. We had about 9 student chutes that we let the students use. We rented them out, I think a buck a jump or something like that, minimal. And I had some people donate these to the club, which is very helpful. And one of the chutes I had, the way the chute is set up, you have a sleeve that goes over the main body of the parachute. And as the person jumps out of the airplane, the sleeve is pulled off by a pilot chute. The main chute then inflates, and the student gets an open chute. Now, the sleeve acts to slow down the opening, to lessen the opening shock of the parachute. If you're going to jump out of an airplane like a paratrooper in the military, you want the chute to open very rapidly. But our chutes, we open a lot higher, and there's more time for the chute to open, and you get a little slower opening shock. And especially if you're in free fall, you're going roughly 120 miles per hour, and that's faster than the paratroopers may or may not go out at. So you want to reduce the opening shock. So you got the sleeve. Well, here's the problem. You've got the pilot chute attached to the top of the sleeve, and then you have a long cord that's attached to the apex of the parachute. That way, after the sleeve is pulled off, it remains somewhat attached but out of the way, so you can easily recover it. Well, we didn't have that line, so I was not going to use this chute. Okay, well, the thing I did that was not very smart was, instead of just leaving it in kind of a bunch, I tend to be a neat person, so I packed it up and put it off in the corner. Well, I was the one who always loaded up the chute, so I wasn't worried about that. This was off in the corner there, and I knew it wasn't a serviceable chute, so that was fine. Well, one day, some of the guys came over and were getting ready to go out and jump, and they said, "I will help you load up the car." So, okay, fine. So they're helping me load up. I'm getting a few other things ready. We get out to the drop zone, and they unload everything. I did not notice, and I didn't have it marked with red tags or anything, that this chute was one of them that got picked up and unloaded. And they put it on a student who's doing his first time jump. And I'm, watching, I'm packing my chute, and I happen to look up, and I see this olive drab sleeve come out. This parachute, the one that shouldn't have been flown, was the only one that had an olive drab sleeve on it, and I knew instantly that this chute was not going to open because the pilot chute was not correctly attached to the sleeve, and it just streamered. And I'm going, oh my. Fortunately, though, we use this with students. We have on the reserve, there is an emergency opening device. It's set for typically 1,200 feet, and a little needle comes down and it makes contact, and it fires an explosive charge that opens the reserve parachute. Well, I own 2 of these. I bought them for use with the club, and he was wearing one of them. And he's going down, and he's maintaining great position, and he should have pushed off and counted to 4, and then if he didn't have a chute, go for his reserve. Well, he's not doing that. He's just falling stably. And we're going, come on, pull the reserve. Well, he hits 1,200 feet, and it pops. And he gets a reserve. So it's like, oh my gosh. Well, it was my fault that I didn't isolate the chute, but then again, my device actually saved his life, so it kind of balanced it out. Well, we got him. He wasn't really shook up, amazingly. Just kind of like, well, that happened, And we said, well, you want to go up again, because you don't kind of want to, end the day on that. So he went up again, and everything went fine. Shoot went great, and we never saw him again, and I really can't blame him, because that was probably when he went home and thought about it. Pretty harrowing of an incident, but that was a way that I I could have had an extreme, and he would have had an extremely bad day. It would have been bad for him, me, the club, everything. I don't even want to think about the liability that at the time. Okay, we're a bunch of college kids. We don't know that much about liability and stuff. And we had him sign a waiver, which I heard was fairly useless because you can't sign away liability. And we didn't have insurance to cover this, so it would probably been prohibitive anyway, which is maybe why the other club closed. But anyway, he survived. Nobody died, and it taught me a very valuable lesson that to this day I've never forgotten. Now, if you remember when I talked about earlier about Jake, who had the malfunction of his main chute and the reserve tangled because he didn't release the main one, and his girlfriend, who became fiance, who became his wife, was next to me, watching it, and this was very traumatic for both of them, extremely traumatic for her. Well, I never for the longest time saw Jake again. And, I got out of that club. I formed my own club, and it's probably the second summer we're jumping, and Jake comes out with his then wife. And he comes out, hey, how you doing? We haven't seen you for a long time, and he's watching the operation and really kind of enjoying it. And he thinks, well, this would be fun. I'd like to go skydiving again. I said, but he had sold all his equipment. His wife made him sell it after what they'd gone through, and he sells it all. And I said, well, no problem. Use my chute. We got equipment here. You can all use this. And he goes, yeah. And we start putting the chute on him and getting strapped up. And his wife just kind of comes unglued. And I can't blame her at all. And they go have a little discussion, and he says, well, I'm not going to jump. And, I can't blame him at all, because there was no way she was going to go through that worry again. And I really couldn't fault either one of them for it, because it's you don't want to go through that again. And of course, I went into the Air Force after that. I left town, and that was that little event out in the drop zone was the last time I've ever seen Jake and his wife. I sure hope they're doing well. Anyway, those are the stories of two events out at the Iowa Parachute team that I kind of wanted to relate. Thanks for watching.